Hey everyone, it's Marking Bad. So, let me preface this. There is no valid ethical reason to engage in doxing any individual for any reason, especially not because they disagree with you. I don't care if the person being doxed is AIU, his parents, Laughing Witch, Jenny McDermott, Thunderfoot, or some random 14-year-old that thinks that antagonizing bigger YouTubers will generate buzz for his channel. Now, that said, let's explore some of these arguments that are being presented as apologia for the act of doxing. If you're going to claim that anonymity or pseudonymity invalidates opinion, that's both a genetic fallacy and a false equivalence. That's fundamentally no better than the arguments made by theists claiming that there is no morality without theism. For anyone that feels the need to argue that there was never any intent to dox, and I'd like you to address the following. Were there discussions with people presenting themselves as experts in data retrieval and doxing? Were there discussions in which there was an open admission to the willingness to dox? And were there instances in which full names or locations were given? The fact that the correct name wasn't released, or it wasn't the kid's real name, is irrelevant. The fact that a name was given out indicates mens rea. It indicates intent. It's an action intended to encourage self-censorship because of a retaliatory action. An action was taken and other actions were previously taken that demonstrate that intent. Going even further than that, if you're going to hold a race activist or a feminist to the definitions of sexism and racism that are in the dictionary, why are you cherry picking for parts of this definition in order to exclude the release of a name or location in order to claim that it's not doxing? Either be consistent or be honest about being a biased cunt. Next up, we have the he didn't do it himself argument, or as we love to mock when it's made by a BLM, he didn't do nothing. The fact is, he has validated doxing as an acceptable response to disagreement, and people are clearly convinced that they're acting on his behalf. And finally, on to the last argument that keeps getting fired around, that there's no right to online anonymity. I'm actually the person who provided Kraut and T with the 3 citations he references in his video. The Supreme Court of Ohio decision that compared the right to anonymity to the right to the secret ballot, the right to vote without fear of reprisal, and the EU and UN declarations that hold that online anonymity are in fact personal rights. Now, you can call it a slippery slope all you like, but normalization and acceptance of doxing as some kind of appropriate ethical response to dissenting opinion brings with it the very real possibility that an individual who's had their information released could face reprisals from totalitarian governments, or even just governments with particularly repressive hate speech laws. I mean, we're not that far past the Soviet-Russian regime, and we see examples of this occurring in the Middle East daily, let alone in places like Germany, where people are being arrested for having private Facebook groups that the government doesn't like. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up another one. Comments, concerns, questions, inexplicable hatred? Find the comment section below, or find me on Facebook and Twitter, or don't. I have absolutely no problems with you disagreeing. Frankly, I'm here for my validation and really don't give a good goddamn about yours.